Hello, hello. How is everybody doing? Alright, showing 4 on right now. Hopefully we'll get some more people soon. Kick this thing off. We got a lot to get to, so. We got 10 lots went in pre-sale, which leaves 113 lots. Hey, Moosox. Figure if it's like a normal night, then in the next like 7 minutes, everybody will start slowly filtering in. So I don't know if anybody saw. There's been articles popping up today saying that the U.S. Mint is moving forward with discontinuing the penny. Last update that just came in today. Oh, where'd it go? I don't see the exact quote right now, but it basically said that, like, they just did what's supposed to be their... Oh, here it is. U.S. Mint made its final order of penny blanks and plans to stop producing the coin when those run out. Treasury Department official confirmed today. This move comes as the cost of making pennies has increased markedly, upwards of 20%. So it's like 4 cents to make every penny now. Some people high up are arguing that if it creates a situation where they end up having to create a bunch more nickels, then that's going to actually end up costing more. But because it's yeah, because the nickel right now is almost 14 cents per nickel to make them. So that's the latest update on that stuff. Hey, Bo. So we'll see if that holds and see if they decide to do it, like, for sure. Well, I mean, you know, if they stop producing pennies, it's going to be just like Canada, where all of them are going to start going up. Yeah, from a collector's position, I can see. I mean, like, I get why the dollar bills are still around because, you know, it's mostly for, like, vending and stuff, but honestly, if they want to save more money, they should stop making dollar bills and just force people to actually use dollar coins. Because an average banknote that's actually getting used only lasts for a couple of years and then it's completely wrecked, whereas coins can last 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Although I absolutely think that the number they quoted for the amount of pennies in circulation right now is way off, because it said there's like 1.4 billion out there in circulation right now. There's way more than that. Yeah, the last few somewhat exciting things for the pennies was the 2009 when they did the 4 different designs, and then of course you had 2010 switch to the shield, and then 2017 had the one with the W, or not the W, but the one that Philly actually put the mint mark on it for their anniversary of the mint. Everything else beyond that is all has to do with proofs and reverse proofs that they did the West points. My guess would be yes, that if they're gonna discontinue the penny, they're gonna pull them all out of circulation and melt them all down. So definitely an article to keep an eye out on, because there's still a lot of good pennies out there that need to be rescued before that happens, including wheat cents and different various varieties and errors and all that kind of stuff. Definitely want to try and pull as much of it out of circulation as possible before that happens. And then the other question would be, are they going to, you know, if they quit doing them for circulation, are they going to do NIFC ones for the mint set still? Because if they do, then that'll be the only way you'll be able to continue your year set if you want to keep doing it. Which I can see them doing that. Yeah, watch. They'll discontinue the penny, and then they'll announce they're going to do NIFC pennies for the men's sets, and then they'll increase the price of the men's sets by $30 because it has 1 penny in it. Because that just seems to be what the mint does. Like when they took the silver proof sets and added, what, 9% silver to it, and then tripled the price with less coins. Because when they did that, that was also towards the end of the presidential dollar run and all that. So a lot less coins are actually in the sets. Yeah, but that's the thing, though. The modern silver sets, if they would drop the price on them by half, they would sell 3 times as many. So you make more money in the end. They're not selling a lot because people just can't bring themselves to spend $90 to $110 for a silver proof set. That's why you guys rarely ever see me having the 3/9 fine silver proofs, is just because They cost too much, and the amount I'd have to charge you guys for them, I hate doing. But at the same time, you know, for the people who are fine with it, to each their own. All right, let's get the beginning stuff out the way. Hello. Go. All right, there's a minor change for this sale. Which I'm going to explain right now as we do the beginning stuff. All right, for anybody new, payments made via PayPal, use Cheapskate Coins at gmail.com. And for this sale, we are asking everybody to do friends and family for their payments, please. So just for this sale, when we do up the invoices, we're going to email you the invoices, and then we're asking that you do the payments. If you're using PayPal, do the payments using friends and family. That would greatly help us out, and that's the way we're doing it just for this sale. All right, and then we also have Cash App using the same email, cheapskatecoins@gmail.com. If you use Cash App, it will say Louis Gachera. That's me. You're in the right place. Shipping is $6 to $23. $6 being a little purple bubble mailer, $23 being a large flat rate box. If you want your package sent registered, there is an additional $35 charge on top of that. Is the only way you can insure coins all the way through the mail. And remember, if you go registered, you will have to sign for it when it arrives. We do hold packages if you want to maximize your shipping. If you want us to hang on to your package so you can fill it all the way up before it goes out, just let us know, hold your package. I always recommend email me and say, hold my package. So that way, in case it flies by in chat and I don't see it, we'll know. If you're new, you can get stuff tonight. You just have to email us by the end of the night. Email has to have your personal info, shipping info, your channel name, which payment method you're going to use, and what email you use for that payment method for invoicing purposes. If we do not get that email, you will not get anything, and we never ship without payments. Excuse me. Here's our Facebook link. If you're on Facebook, go give us a follow. Excuse me. Tonight's lot list is on there. It is the top post. We do post the lot list up there every night we have a sale. We also have a mailing list. If you want to be on the mailing list, send me an email, cheapskatecoins@gmail.com, and say add me to the mailing list. If you're on the mailing list, you will get the lot list at least a couple of days before every sale. And as soon as it hits your email, you have the ability to pre-purchase items. It is first come, first serve. So if you see something you want, don't wait, jump on it. We do not charge right away for pre-sales. We wait until the night of the sale and then invoice everybody together. And then, of course, the day of the sale, when we post the lot list on Facebook, everything that went in pre-sale has been removed. So what is on there, it is what is available for that night. All right, just a reminder to everybody, this is a consignment sale. That means I do not own any of this stuff. I did not set the prices for any of this stuff. There are a handful of things I do have permission to haggle on or do as a bundle. So you can ask, but if it's not one of those things, I'll just have to tell you, sorry, it's not one of the things I can change the price on. So keep that in mind. This is a consignment sale. None of this stuff is mine, and after the sale is over, whatever doesn't sell is going back to the owner. So there's a lot of great stuff. Take advantage of it while it's here. Something I normally don't do, but I'm going to do this time. And I'm going to do it a little different. So normally with a consignment sale, I don't include consignment sales for like the sellout giveaways. Tonight I am. Definitely if we get a sellout, I am going to include that into the sellout giveaway. But I have a dollar amount in mind it equals up to about a third of everything on this list. And if we can even hit that number, I'm not going to tell you what the number is. I'll just tell you when we get to the end if we hit it or not yet. But if we hit that number, then I'm going to add something special into the big giveaway. If we actually do a sellout, which is unlikely, but if we actually did do a sellout, there's going to be gold in that giveaway for sure. Because that would be freaking awesome. And I have been able, because there are a lot of high dollar items on this list, I am able to tell you guys that you guys will have up to 6 weeks. I'm going to put that in chat. You have up to 6 weeks to make payments. So today's the 22nd. So you would have to have the final payment in by July 3rd at the latest. So let me put that in chat as well. There you go. Final payment must be made no later than July 3rd. Hey, Doug. And again, a reminder, we are asking everybody to do friends and family on PayPal for this sale only. So if you do break it up, if you get $1,500 of stuff and you break it up into 6 weeks, just make sure, make a note for yourself, do whatever you got to do, but make sure that each one of your payments, you do friends and family. Any questions? So yeah, again, if we get a sellout tonight, even though it's a consignment sale, if we do manage to do a sellout tonight, there's going to be gold. Absolutely going to be gold. Probably minimum of, I'd say honestly, probably a minimum of a ½ ounce gold coin. But like I said, I also do have a dollar amount in mind that if we make it to that dollar amount, I'm going to do something special for you guys when we do that big giveaway. It may not be gold, but it's going to be something really good. So, all right, here we go. We are kicking off tonight with American banknotes. First couple of lots are some uncut sheets. First one is a 2003 Series A $1 bill 4-note uncut sheet. Going for 15 bucks. Let me bring this up for these. Focus. So any takers at 15 bucks for an uncut page of $1 banknotes. Uncirculated, obviously. Kind of goes without saying when it's an uncut page. Anybody? Wow, surprising. I thought sure somebody would have taken that one. Alrighty. Lot number 2, also from 2003. Series A $2 bill, uncut 4-bill sheet. This one's over 20 bucks. And this is one of the things I am allowed to do. If anybody wants both of the uncut sheets, I'm allowed to do it for 30 bucks as a bundle. So $5 off if you get both. Anybody? I've always thought these are really cool. $22 years old. Nobody. All right, moving on. That honestly surprises me. Usually you guys are all over those things. All right, next up. We have 2 of these available, but they're slightly different. There's a 2017A. It's an original banded uncirculated stack of $2 notes. Uncirculated condition, obviously. $200 face, going for 300 bucks. This is the original bank strap. These are obviously consecutive serial numbers. So 606, 607, and so on. And then I was honestly surprised that he did this one as low as he did. There's a second one of these, but they're all sequential fancy serial notes. And he's only doing it for 400 bucks. 2 times face, that's it. All of them are the 999. Any takers on either of these? And just a reminder, you guys do have 6 weeks to make payments. And no love for banknotes. Alright, moving on. Oop, hang on. Put those back in their bag real quick, so they stay nice and purty. Alright, next up is some star notes. First one is a 2013 $5 star note. Going for $8. They're stopping star notes? I did not hear that. Interesting. I wonder what that's going to do to the star note market for the already existing ones. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that. Alright, moving on. Next up, with 3 available. These are our 2013 $10 star notes at $15 each. What about consecutive serial numbers also? They can't stop that. That's just the way they get printed automatically. That way they have ways to track them. All right, moving on. All right, next up. $2004 $20 star notes. One sec, Bo. There's 2 available, and then there is also 2 available for 2009. And then 2 available for 2013. Wiggle room for which ones? I could do a bundle price if anybody gets both stacks of the $2 bills. And then I am allowed to do a bundle if anybody wants all of the star notes minus the 100. So if anybody wants the 5, the 10s, and the 20s, then I am able to do a bundle deal on all of those. Which would be $22 off the top. It knocks for the $5 and the $10 ones, it knocks $1 off each, and then the $20 ones, it makes them 25 bucks each. So if anybody wants to know what the total on that would be, if you want all the from the 5 to the 20s, be $199 would be the bundle price. But all right, moving on. And again, you do have 6 months or 6 months. You do have 6 weeks to make payments. All right, last U.S. banknote. We did have 2 of these, but one did go on pre-sale. 2009 Series A $100 star note. 125 bucks. Rap Music, you have to email me first, cheapskatecoins@gmail.com. Before you can get anything, the email has to have your personal info, shipping info, channel name, if you're going to use Cash App or PayPal to pay for stuff, and what email you use for those payment methods, so I can invoice you. And we never ship without payment. Email is right at the bottom right-hand side of your screen. But, all right, we are going to move on. If you get me that email, I will put your name on it. All right, we got one more banknote. This one is from Canada. I appreciate that, but that is still the rules. It is a 1954 $1. I don't know why it says uncirculated. It is not an uncirculated. It's actually an AU. Let me fix that. Mislabeled. There we go. Thank you, sir. Anybody on the banknote? So the Thor is supposed to have that devil's face and the hair. I have never personally been able to see it. I've never seen what they're talking about. Oh, I know this one's not it. But this is the year that they did it. But for the ones that say that they have it, like I've looked at the pictures and I've looked at the close-ups that they put and all that, I don't see it. Maybe it's just me. I don't see it. But, all right, moving on. No love for banknotes. All right, next lot. Oh, that one's going to Bo. Coming in late for it. You got a Bo? All right, next lot. This is actually a very cool lot, and I can almost guarantee you, whoever gets these, if you go through them, you'll probably find just one piece amongst this that will equal the value of the entire lot. So it is a bag of 20 various medallions from Canada. It's going for 50 bucks. So that only makes it $2.50 per medallion. Show you some of the medallions in here. That was a Sung dollar. Sung Dynasty. Kind of cool. So definitely some cool stuff in here. That Sung dollar alone has probably got a decent value to it. Festival dollar. Sea Festival. Awesome piece for those of you that like the stuff with the boats on it. 50-cent trade token or trade medallion. Canada meat ration. Don't see those every day. I'm assuming that was actually American. rest of them real quick. Anybody on this lot? That's on your end, Danny Dave. I'm showing green. Anybody? It looks like there are actually a handful of American. There's an old one that's got Victoria and George on it. Confederation medal. 1927. But again, it's 20 pieces, 50 bucks. It's only $2.50 per piece. That is a great deal. But last call, and then we got to move on. All right, moving on. All right, next up is a 2-ounce assayed silver weight bag of Franklin Mint silver medallions. These are all 925 sterling silver. The 2 ounces is the overall weight of the silver in the bag. Various different years of the medallions. Anybody at 75 bucks. So silver, as of right this second, $33.07. So you're looking at $66.14 is just the melt value alone on this right now. So this is definitely that kind of thing. If you get it and you sit on it for 5 years, you're going to make money off of it no matter what. Anybody? All right, moving on. Very possibly. All right, then we got another 2-ouncer. This is a 2-ounce junk American and world bag. But the assayed silver weight in it is 2 ounces. This one's going for $100. Let me get this a little closer. All right, so you got a barber dime. Got a Barber half dollar. You got a Morgan dollar. That was a 1921. Don't know if Adam mint mark or not. Yeah, 1921 O from the looks of it. Or that might have been a D. That would have been a D. They didn't have O at 1921. And then a 1947 Panama 1 Balboa. The total assayed silver weight of this is, again, 2 ounces. And I am allowed to do on these, if anybody wants both bags, you can do both for 150 bucks. Which is 25 bucks off if you get both. All right, moving on. All right, next up, we got the rolls. Silver coin rolls. First one is a roll of 20, mixed date. Silver German 10 marks. All of them are BUs. $425 for the roll. Different dates, different mints. $425 divided by 20 makes it $21.25 per coin. Anybody? All right, moving on. Next up, this I believe is the second most expensive lot on the entire list. Yeah. It's a full roll of the 1968 72% silver, 25 pesos. And they're all BUs. This one's going for 500 bucks. So it's 25 bucks a coin. It's too bad Richard's not here. He'd probably be loving some of this stuff. All right, moving on. Just a reminder, too, anything that doesn't sell tonight's going back to the owner. This stuff is not mine. All right, next up, we got 3 of these available. These are full rolls, 40 coins of mixed date Canada silver quarters. And yes, these are anything from the early 925s up to the final year they did them. $280 a roll. So you could potentially pull some really good dates out of those. And that breaks down to $7 a quarter. Let me see something. Yeah, so for all of the King Georges or lower that are in there, just the melt value alone on those is $5.75 each. And then the melt value for the 80%ers will be just slightly less. Hey, go Mabel. We're hanging in there. Haven't sold anything yet. Nobody's broken the ice yet. We're already 26 lots in. So not looking good. Oh wait, sorry, that's a lie. Bo bought one banknote. So that one's top is King George the Younger. Of some date. That one's top is the King George the Older. Yeah, I got two of those coming up next. But, all right, moving on. Apparently nobody wants to stock up on goodies tonight. So, all right, next up. As I said, next up is 2 rolls of Canadian silver dimes. 50 coins, mixed dates. These, again, can be anywhere from the early 925 silvers up to the 67s. Hey, Richard. If there was anything that you wanted within the first 26 lots, the only thing that went was one banknote. That was the Canada one. So $200 per roll, that equals $4 per coin. So yeah, all the star notes, the $2 notes, the bank straps of the $2 notes, and so far all of the silver bulk lots are all still available. I did let everybody know at the beginning, Richard, that I am going to be asking everyone to do friends and family for this sale only. So I'll be emailing out the invoices. And everybody will have up to 6 weeks to make payments. So the final payment will have to be in by no later than July 3rd. All right, moving on. Oh, and then I also said if somehow we miraculously did a sellout tonight, there's definitely going to be gold in the big giveaway. But even if not, I do have a dollar amount in mind that if we make it to and it equals roughly about a third of the total value of the list, I will still do something special for you guys when we do the big giveaway. All right, next up, I know some of you were big on these when I showed them the other night. 3.8 ounce, 9999 silver, Nolan Ryan jersey retirement, proof silver bar, in case, $180. Probably the best baseball pitcher of all time. And again, if anybody wants to jump on this Nolan Ryan stuff, you got to do it tonight. Everything that doesn't sell is going back to the owner. It will not be here anymore. Did Mariano Rivera ever pitch 3 no-hitters right in a row? And 7 no-hitters total. Wow, nobody. All right. With how high you guys were on that when I showed it in the preview, I thought sure somebody would have grabbed that, but apparently not. And then next up is the Nolan Ryan proof silver medallion sets. Going for 120. That one is a 24 karat gold plated silver medallion. Pure silver. At least I'm pretty sure that's gold plated. I doubt that's a solid gold. And then that one is a bronze. Yeah, it's just gold on the face and the rim are highlighted in 24 karat gold. Man, nobody. All right. Whatever. Moving on. All right, next up, I'm going to go through these things pretty fast, guys. These are silver medallions. These are 925s. So these are all sterling silver medallions, and I'm going to go through them pretty quick. So if you want one, jump on it. First up, 1985, town of Ossipine, New Hampshire. 3/4 ounce assayed silverweight, high relief burnished, $30. All right, moving on. Next up is Blue Train. This is 7/10 of an ounce assayed silverweight proof medallion for $28. Alright, moving on. To the 1962 Project Mercury Sigma medallion. .675 ounce assayed silver weight. 28 bucks. Going to Danny Dave. Congrats, sir. All right, next up, 1975 USA CCCP Apollo Partners in Space. 0.6 of an ounce assayed silverweight proof medallion, 25 bucks. Commemorating the partnership of astronauts and cosmonauts. Going to Danny Dave. Indeed. All right, next up. Actually, the next two are from the American Revolution Bicentennial. This one is 1973. This is the Sam Adams and Patrick Henry. One ounce assayed silver weights, 38 bucks. All right, moving on. And then the other one is the Thomas Jefferson 1976. Again, 1 ounce assayed silver weight, and again, 38 bucks. All right, moving on. And the next four are U.S. state medallions. These are all 1 ouncers. State of North Carolina. All right, moving on to state of Washington. All right, moving on to state of Montana. And we're showing right now why I don't care bullion. Alright, moving on. And the last one, State of Alaska. Well, that's all of them for the state ones. And the 1985 New Hampshire. And the ball. You got it, sir. All right. Next couple of these are from the First Lady series. These are again 1 ounce silvers. We got Louise Adams. And Jacqueline Kennedy. $38 each. All right, moving on. Next one up, we have 2 available. These are the 1970 United Nations 25-year anniversary silver medallions. These are 0.776 ounce assayed silver weight and $30 each. Anybody? All right, moving on. To 1979, Pope Johannes Paulus II, otherwise known as Pope John Paul II. 0.925 silver. It is 0.6327 ounce assayed silver weight and $25. A little silver medallion out of Mexico commemorating the Pope of the time. Anybody else find it interesting, the new popes from Chicago? I know a bunch of people are upset that his first speech he didn't bother doing anything in English. Alright, moving on. And the last of the medallions, 1971, Ben Franklin, Ruth S. Anderson. This is a half-ounce assayed silverweight at $22. After this, we are on to coinage. All right, moving on. I did not. I did know the only reason he's on a banknote is because he was technically a president, because he was the president of Philadelphia before the Constitution was signed and everything. All right, coinage. All right, this first lot is pretty cool. All right, so this is a 1969 to 1987 22 coin Canada dollar year set. These are not silver. These are the nickel. And they are a mixture of BUs and proofs. But this is a good way for anybody who wants to fill in a good chunk of your Canadian dollar set. Here's a good way to do it. Again, it's 22 coins, $60. That's less than $3 a coin. There's your 68 BU. 69. The 70 100-year Manitoba coin. The 71 100-year British Columbia coin. 72 proof. 73 Prince Edward Island proof. 74 100-year Manitoba BU. 75 is proof. 76 proof. 77 is proof. 78 is proof. 79 proof. 80 is BU. 81 BU. 82 proof. Also the 82 Confederate Constitution commemorative in a BU. 83 is BU. 84 is the... I'm not even going to try his first name. That's the Carger one. Commemorative. 84 regular is a proof. 85 proof. 86 proof. And 87 proof. Jacques. So that is the set. 22 coins. $60, all BUs and proofs. Less than $3 per coin. That is a good deal, guys. And Doug Harding is taking that. Awesome. Congrats, Doug. Yeah, Looney is basically like the Asgardian gold that we use for our dollar coins now. Which is the magnesium mixture. Yes, sir. Full payment. You have 6 weeks to make payments. So as long as everything is paid for by July 3rd, you're good. Alright, next up we got some of the better date Canadian large cents. If anybody's been trying to fill in some good examples to your collections. First one is 1876H AU. How often do you see them looking like that? This one's 25 bucks. Got the age there right under the date. That's the Heaton and Sons mint. And this one's going to Richard Gratzer. Next up, this one is awesome. 1882H. This is obverse number 2. Uncirculated. Obverse number 2 is the one that has the double chin. NGC list on this one is $219. He's asking $175. That is a great deal for an uncirculated 1882H. Obverse number 2. If I had the money, I would be buying that one for my collection. All right, moving on to the 1884 obverse number 2. This one's in an EF, 15 bucks. I hear it. I'm doing this sale to try and pay off a bill. Going to Richard Gratzer. This is a consignment sale for one of my suppliers that allowed me to build up debt with him. And now he's calling in that debt and allowing me to do this to work some of it off. So I fully understand. Once I get that taken care of, then I got to start working on my debt with Rick. Finally get myself back above board again. All right, and then the last of these, 1900 no H. Uncirculated. NGC list on this one is 140 bucks. He's asking 80. And that one is going to Richard Gratzer. All right, that just leaves the 1882 age obverse number 2. If anybody decides you want that by the end of the night, let me know. Otherwise, it's going back to the owner. All right, next up is the much older ones. These are the like their version of the Civil, or not the Civil War, but the U.S. hard time tokens. But some of these are very cool, like this one. This one is from 1913. This is the Field Marshal Wellington halfpenny token. It was minted in England for use in the US and Canada. And it is VG for 15 bucks. Going to Richard Gratzer. Next one up is from 1815. This is the Miles W. White Ironmonger half-penny merchant token. In VG for 25. Yeah, these things are pretty rare. There's not a lot of these that have survived the ages. All right, moving on to the 1820 King George IV half-penny token. This is another one that was minted in England for use in the US and Canada. It's in a good 15 bucks. 1815 token is going to Dandy Dave. You got it, sir. So I don't know how well you guys can see it, but that's actually the Irish harp on the back of that. And then King George IV on the front. Oh, sorry. This one was minted in Ireland, not England. That's a typo. These were minted in Ireland for use in Lower Canada and the U.S. So this is actually an Irish minted coin. Not often you find a coin that was legit minted in Ireland. All right, nope, moving on. Next up, 1841 Obverse number 2, no date, top flip orientation. Rutherford St. John's halfpenny merchant token, Newfoundland, Canada. And George IV going to Dandy Dave. You got it, sir. Honestly, if you hadn't got that, I might have bought it for me. Is it a dead pig? Could be. Yes, that is a dead pig. Because, why not? Or a goat, or something like that. And mermaid on the back. Kind of cool. The shield with the mermaid. Anybody on this one? 15 bucks. I know. All right, moving on. All right, and then next up are bank tokens. 1843 halfpenny token. This is the one with Victoria on the obverse and the ship on the reverse. From New Brunswick. It's in a fine for 12 bucks. So these are the ones that are akin to America's, you know, the New Yorks and the Connecticuts and all those. These are when their banks were making the money because they didn't have the Canadian Mint yet. This one's going to Dandy Dave Gratzer. All right, last of the half pennies is the 1846 fine wool with rosettes. Rutherford Harbor Grace halfpenny token, Newfoundland, Canada, VF, 45 bucks. There are 4 versions of this. There is the coarse hair and the fine hair, or the coarse wool and the fine hair wool. And then with rosettes and without rosettes. And all the various combinations. So this one is a VF and 45 bucks. Very, very rare you ever see them looking this good. All right, moving on. Next up, penny tokens. Starting off with another one that this was actually an English token and it was made for use in Canada. 1813 Cossack penny. It's in a fine 45 bucks. This is a rare coin, guys. Not quite as rare as the next one, but quite possibly the second most rare of all the Canadian tokens that went out tonight. But all right, moving on. Next up, have you guys ever wanted to start and complete a coin set all in one shot? This is the only coin ever produced on Magdalen Island. Ever. The 1915 Magdalen Island penny token. It's in a good Argument might be made for a VG, but I called it a good because the back had a bit, you know, a good bit of wear on it. Probably a VG though. 85 bucks on this one. Or no, it's a fine, sorry. That is a typo on there. This one's in a fine. Okay, there we go. Let me fix that. It would not be a stretch to say this might be the only one of these you guys ever come across. There we go. Now it's fixed. There is no record of how many were made, but it is known that this was the only coin ever made on that island. For the 1815 penny tokens. And I just realized these are out of order. Reset. Okay, there's the real one. So it was not a typo. It was actually supposed to be good. These were out of order. Oy. My bad. I was showing you guys the other one. So there, okay, it was a good. It is 85 bucks. I'm just an idiot. So there's the real one. Magdalene Island, only coin produced. It's in a good 1815. Apologies. Pretty sure that's a seal. All right, now that we got the right one under the camera, anybody? And this one, he did say I am allowed to go as low as 70. If anybody's willing to go 70, but that's as low as he'll go. So anybody on this one for 70? Just go for his lowest price. All right, moving on. We need to get going. We're only about maybe a little less than halfway through. Next up, 1837. This one is the figure and sash design. Penny token from Quebec. It's in a good for 10 bucks. All right, moving on to the 1843 Victoria and Ship, New Brunswick in fine. We had the half penny version that Dandy Dave picked up. This is the 1 penny version. Fine for 12 bucks. Going to Danny Dave. Get the set. You got the hat penny, now you got the penny. Congrats, sir. Next up, 1852 large 2, St. George. Bank of Upper Canada, VG for 10 bucks. You know, because you got St. George stomping on a dragon, because, you know, they had a big dragon problem back then. This is the large 2 version. Going to Dandy. Congrats, sir. Next up, 1852. Making it hard to work. This again is the figure and stash. 1852 Quebec penny token. VG, 10 bucks. Hadn't learned to train their dragons yet. Alright, moving on to the 1854 Plain 4 St. George. Bank of Upper Canada. VF, 15 bucks. That is a good price for a VF. We are 7 lots away from the showcase coin. We've made it a third of the way to the number I had in mind so far for doing something special for you guys. Alright, moving on. Next up is 1854 Victoria and Ship Design, New Brunswick. VG, 10 bucks. You got the 1843 version of it, Dandy Dave. Do you want the 1854 version? I said, you got the 1843 version of this coin. Do you want the 1854 version as well? No? All right. King George going to West Side. You got it, sir. All right, next up, we have an error coin. 1850, and then it is missing the final digit of the date. It just simply didn't get struck. It's Bank of Upper Canada. I could only assume this was a massive grease strike through, or a fill, what's called a fill die, because the entire reverse is missing as well. But you can see grease ripples. So this one is a fine and going at 40 bucks. This is a grease-filled die error. So, of course, error coins means, you know, this is unique, one of a kind. You can just barely make out a little bit of the wreath work on the back. That's it. Wow, I am surprised nobody's going for that one. All right, moving on. Yes, on this one, Doug, I can go to 35. So going to Doug for 35. Had to check the notes. You are very welcome. All right, next up, Canada silver dollars, and we are only a few lots away from the showcase coin of this sale. Which, if somebody buys the showcase coin of the sale, is going to put us almost at the number I had in mind. But kicking off, silver dollars, it is 1936 BU. 339.6K minted. Going for 90 bucks. Anybody? All right, moving on to the 1937 BU. 207.4 thousand minted. Going for 75 bucks. moving on to the 1939 BU, 28 bucks. And this one's going to Doug. Crash Doug. All right, next two are key dates. $1946. Only 93,000 minted. This one is a BU. It's actually a BU proof like. 325 bucks. That is one of the key dates of the dollar series. All right, moving on. All right, showcase coin. Again, before I show this, I want to remind everybody you do have up to 6 weeks to make payments. I really hope somebody chooses to add this to your collection because this thing is amazing. 1947 pointed 7. BU. Only a little over 21,000 of these were ever made. NGC list is $2,200. It is going for $1,750. Now that is a key date. Plus, like I said, if somebody digs deep and decides to add this coin to your collection, that almost hits our goal for the doing something really special for you guys by itself. Yes, sir. Pointed 7 on the bottom. That little hooked point is what makes it very rare. There is a little bit of wiggle room on this one. So the lowest he will go on this one is $1,600. That's $600 off list. So that would be 267-ish per week if you did the weekly payments. I mean, I'm not good enough at grading Dandy Dave to be able to give a number, but if that's where if Mint State 63 is the 2200, then yeah, that's what he's saying that he thinks this one is. And I mean, the guy's a Canadian expert, so he knows what it is. He was actually telling me that at one point his Canadian collection, he was only missing 2. Yeah, the NGC price point. Here, I'll pull it up real quick. 1947.27 Canada dollar. Or he might have actually been calling this one the proof. That's a possibility too, but let me bring over to browser scene, doing. Okay, there we go. So your 1947 pointed sevens. Are the 2 bottom ones. If it's the BU, it'd be 22. It'd be actually $2,000 NGC list at Mint State 63. If it's the proof, that would be $4,500 at proof 63. And I admit, even myself, sometimes with world coins, I have trouble telling the difference sometimes between like a BU specimen or a proof. I know it has something to do with the way the edge is shaped, but I've just never been good at always being able to discern the difference. So, but that's your basics right there. It's either 2,000 or 4,500, depending on if it's a BU or a proof at the 63 marks. But, all right, last call on this one. If nobody grabs it, it's going back to the owner. All right, moving on. And if anybody ever wondered, that, by the way, is one of the reasons why I don't really get coins that are worth over $1,000, is just because the majority of people on my channel can't afford coins that are over $1,000. So I tend not to grab them, except for when they're on, like, consignment. So I figure, why not? Anyways, next up, 1950. This is the 2.5 waterline version. BU 261,000 minted across both types. $110. So for anybody who doesn't know, you're looking at this side of the boat at the little water lines right there. You have 2 full water lines and then a half. So that's what makes the 2.5. When you can get the camera to actually see it. There we go. So you have the one line up top and then the one below and then the half. That is what makes the 2.5. So do I have anything I can use as a pointer? Not really. So yeah, so 1, 2, half. That's what you're looking at. And then the other one is, of course, the 3 water lines, which is also available at a BU for $75. And you can see on that one, you have 3 full water lines. 1, 2, 3. All right, so it's 110, 75. And then this is one of the ones I was allowed to do a deal for if anybody wants to set. Or both for $160. If you get both of them, that saves you, what, $25? Yeah. $25 off if you get both. And while you guys look at those, give me a minute because I really got to use the bathroom. I will be right back. All right, I'm back. Normal coin has 3 lines. Yeah, Doug's right. But all right, we are moving on. Next up is the 1953 no strap wire rim. BU for 28 bucks. Going to Doug. Congrats, Doug. All right, next up, another semi-key date. 1956 at only 209,000 minted. Over 85. All right, moving on. All right, the next two are the 1957 3 water lines and the 1 water line. And this is another one I am allowed to do as a set. For 110 for the set. And Doug was already wanting to know, and there it is. Going to Doug. And so you guys can see these as well. That's the 3 water line. And that's the 1 water line. So congrats for the deal. All right. Next one up, we have 2 available. Get back on the right camera. These are the 1959 BUs, 28 bucks each. One going to Doug. Yeah, I believe so. Anybody on the other? All right, moving on. Next up, 1964 BU for 28 bucks. That is the Charlottetown commemorative. Going to Doug. And then the 1967 BU. This is the Goose. The Goose. 28 bucks. And this is the last of the 80%ers. And second to last of the dollars. Just check the collection. You have the 47 blunt 7. Nice. Is yours an uncirculated as well? Oh, you have the blunt 7, not the pointed 7. Okay. Yeah, the pointed 7 is the one that's the big one. That's the one that we had up. Well, if you want the pointed 7 to go with it, you have 6 weeks to pay it off. But all right, moving on. Last dollar is the 1971 50% silver proof. 18 bucks. Yeah, it's a pricey coin for sure. And this one's going to Doug. All right. All right, next lot. I know this is one you guys were definitely had some curiousness about. This is the complete, including all key dates. 1920 to 1966 small cent Canada Whitman Dansko style album. It's 125 bucks. So basically everything from there to about there is pretty much key dates. So you're almost paying for those coins and getting the rest of them for free. Yeah, he had a 48 too, but he wanted too high of a price for it. With the fact that it wasn't uncirculated, but it was harshly cleaned, and you could easily tell it was harshly cleaned. And he was still wanting over $4,000 for it, and I was like, dude, I'm sorry, I can't get that. Not with it looking that way. Otherwise, there would have been a 48 available tonight. Anybody on this one? 125. And he did say he will go as low as 100 on this one. So if anybody wants it for 100, that's as low as he'll go. Oops. Anybody want to do it for 100? Lowest price he will go. Moose Socks, you're coming in at the 100. Gratzer. Alrighty. Next up, I'm just going to link all of these real quick. Say Western Waters, 5 keelboat, or a keelboat 5 coin set. There are 3 available. Western Waters, 5 coin set. There are 2 available. There's 1 American Bison set. And 1 Western Waters. So these are your sets that you got the BUs. And then you got the colorized, the holographic, and the gold plated. Going for $6 a set. Anybody? Which one you doing, Dandy Dave? Did you want the Western Waters, the keelboat, the Bison, or the piece metal? Or do you want one of each? I typoed on it. It was supposed to say Westward Journey, keelboat, Westward Journey, piece metal. Do you want the Western Water one? All right. Anybody else? We got Bison, piece metal, keelboat, keelboat, and keelboat. So no, that was the only Western water one. The factory got burned down. That sucks. Anybody else? Last call. All right, moving on. All right, next up, Barber halves. A bunch of these went in pre-sale. Just FYI. So the first one for these available tonight is the 1894 New Orleans. This one's in a good 1250 survival, all grades. The list is $70. He's doing it for 40. Give the nickel set to Westside, or give the barber to Westside. All right, I'm going to assume you meant give the nickel set to Westside as a gift. All right, yes. All right, so Westside, you are getting the nickel set from Dandy Dave as a gift. All right, moving on. To the 1899 plain date. 6,000 survival all grades. This one's a VG. List is $80. He's doing it for 45. All right, moving on. To the 1900 New Orleans. 1,250 survival all grades. This one's in a good. The list is $65. He's doing it for 40. All right, moving on. To the 1903 San Francisco. 2.5K survival all grades. This one's in a good. List is $60. She's asking 35. Moving on to the 1908 New Orleans. This one's in a fine. 5,000 survival, all grades. List on this one is 115 bucks. He's asking 60. Yeah, it has very cool toning on it. It's almost got almost like a rose color from certain angles. It's kind of cool. West Side said hello. All right, moving on to the 1909 S. 2.5K survival all grades. List 80 bucks. He's asking 45. Moving on to the 1910 San Francisco. This one's in a VG, 2,500 survival all grades. List 80 bucks. He's asking 50. Go away, scam likely. I don't want you. Alright, moving on. Last of the barbers. 1915 S. This one's 4,000 survival. It's in a fine. List is 115 bucks, and he's asking 65. Oh, babe. Start right there and read down. Alright, moving on. And there is a bundle opportunity for the barbers if anybody's interested, but I'd have to go through and do it all up and do the math. Hey, welcome, Troy Ounce. Good to have you. All right. The last bit of lots. I'm going to link these all together. They're all between 35 and 38 bucks. They're all commemorative, 90% silver commemorative dollars. And if anybody's interested, there is also bundle opportunities for these. So we got 1989 Denver Congress BU, 1990 Philadelphia Eisenhower Proof, there's 2 of those available. (1994) Philadelphia Women in Military. That one's a proof. 1996 Smithsonian. That's a proof. 97 Philadelphia Botanical Gardens. Proof. $19.99 Philadelphia Yellowstone. That is a proof. All the rest of them are proofs. So we got Dolly Madison 99, 2001 Philadelphia Capitol Visitor, 2002 Salt Lake Olympics, 2004 Lewis and Clark, 2006 San Francisco. That's the Old Mint commemorative. We have 2 available on the 07 Philadelphia Jamestown. (2009) Philadelphia Abraham Lincoln. (2009) Philadelphia Louis Braille. And 2012 West Point Infantry. So these all come in the sealed airtights. So 1989 Congress. Here's the 1990 Eisenhower. There's 2 of these available. The Women in Military. Smithsonian, I'm just going to show the one side that's up. Botanical Gardens, because this is going to take way too long to get through all these. Yellowstone. Dolly Madison. This is the Capitol Visitor. Salt Lake Olympics. Lewis and Clark. San Francisco Old Mint. Jamestown, 2 of these available. Abraham Lincoln. And the Lewis Braille. Anybody on any of these? Oh, and then the last one, the infantry from West Point. Yeah, just give me a minute to find it again. Salt Lake. There you go, Westside. Could be the 2x or the airtight as well. These are all the original airtights that they were in. So yes, it was the bag, because now it doesn't have it. Going to West Side for this one. Congrats, sir. Anybody else? All right, quick recap. For the banknotes, both of the uncut sheets are still available. That's the $1 and the $2 one. 2003 Series A $1 or 2003 Series A $2. 4-note uncut sheets. Those are still available. Both of the original banded $2 stacks are still available. All of the $5 through $20 star notes are still available. One of the 2009 $100 star notes is still available. Anybody on the banknotes? All right. The 20 various medallions of Canada is still available. Both of the 2-ounce bags of silver are still available. All of the full rolls are still available. That's the roll of the 20 coins, the German 10 marks, BU mixed dates. The 1968 25 peso Mexico BU roll. The 3 Canada silver mixed date rolls and the 2 Canada dime mixed date rolls. Anybody on the rolls? Or the bags of silver? All right, both of the Nolan Ryan pieces are still available. The bar and the 3 medallions for the Nolan Ryan jersey retirement. Anybody on those? All right, the majority of the silver medallions all are still available. The only ones that went are the Ossipine, New Hampshire, and the 2 space program ones. The Mercury and the Apollo are gone. Anybody on any of the other silver medallions? And then the only Canadian large cent still available was the 1876H the 1882H. Obverse number 2 uncirculated is still available. And then there are some various of the half cent and cent tokens that are still available. All right, Canada silver dollars. We've still got the 36, 37, the 46, 47 pointed 7, both the 1950s, the 1956, 59, and 67. Anybody on those? All right, and then of course we got the 2004 and 5 nickel sets and the barbers that didn't go. 1894 New Orleans, 99 plain dates, 1900 New Orleans, 1903 S, 08 or 08 New Orleans, 09 S, 10 S, and the 15S. Yes, a lot of the Canadian tokens are still available. And then, of course, a bunch of all the commemorative dollars except for the Salt Lake. Yeah, Moose Ox. The Canadian tokens still available are the 1841 obverse number 2 no date, 1843 halfpenny, 1846 fine wool, the 1813 Cossack penny, 1815 Magdalen penny, the 1837 Quebec, 1843 New Brunswick, 1852 large 2.
Nope.
Oh, nope, that's sold. 1852 figure and sash is still available. 54 Victoria and Ship New Brunswick is still available. Those are the tokens that are still available. Magdalen Island, 1815 penny token. Only coin that Magdalen Island ever produced. It is in a good, and it is 80 bucks, I believe. 85 bucks.
And that's the lowest.
Going to Moose Ox. Did you want to see any of the others, Moose Ox, or just the one? I can just flip through the rest of this stack real quick. Here's the 84 New Brunswick.
He said Cossack.
I'll get to it eventually. Here's the 1852 Quebec. 1837 Quebec. Cossack penny. 1813 and a fine. 45 bucks.
It's upside down. There you go. I'm going to these socks.
You got it, sir. Any others? Oh, yeah, the bag. The token bag. Yeah, Moose, he's talking about this. It's a bag of 20 pieces, mostly Canadian. I did see there were a few of the U.S. Mint ones mixed in. But it's mostly Canadian tokens and medallions. It's 50 bucks for the bag, so it breaks down to $2.50 per piece. And I saw a couple in there that probably would make up a good majority of that 50 bucks. When we went through it the first time. So, that's what that was. Alright guys, last call. Last chance, everything is going back to the owner. Yeah, when we email out all the invoices, just reply to us and let us know what your payment breakdown is going to be. That way we know. And again, just a reminder, if you're on PayPal, we are asking just for this sale to do friends and family. So, unfortunately, you guys only made it about halfway to what the goal would have been for the bonus. But it is what it is. But, alright, final call and everything, and then I'm getting out of here and spending a little bit of time with my wife before she goes to work, and then I'll get started on invoices. Alright, everybody have a great night. Thanks for coming out, and we will see you guys next week. Oh, by the way, I have not forgotten about the other giveaway, the Montly Loots one. There is a chance I'm just going to double it up for next month like I've done a couple of times. But I will get it done in the end. But, alright, everybody.